In any relationship, open communication and mutual understanding are vital for maintaining emotional intimacy and a strong connection. However, there are times when the subtle cracks in a relationship begin to show, and one of the most alarming signs is when your partner avoids discussing relationship issues or problems altogether. It might start off small. Maybe they seem distracted when you bring up a concern, or they change the subject quickly. But as the pattern continues, the impact can be much deeper and more damaging than it initially appears. Ignoring or avoiding relationship problems isn't just a communication breakdown, it's a clear signal that something isn't right beneath the surface. Healthy relationships require both partners to actively engage in resolving conflicts, facing uncomfortable truths, and working through challenges together. Without these conversations, the emotional connection that holds the relationship together begins to fray. This pattern of avoidance can leave one partner feeling abandoned, unheard, and uncertain about where the relationship stands. Over time, it can erode the trust and understanding that are essential for love to thrive. When a partner avoids discussing important relationship issues, it might not always be a conscious choice. Some people struggle with conflict, often because they fear confrontation or feel overwhelmed by the emotions involved. For others, it might be a defense mechanism to protect themselves from the emotional intensity that comes with discussing painful subjects. But no matter the reason behind the avoidance, the result is the same: an unresolved issue that lingers and worsens. When partners don't address problems, they fester and create more distance between them. The act of avoiding discussions about relationship problems is a form of emotional withdrawal. At first, it may seem like a simple delay. A partner might say they're too tired or distracted to talk right now. But if this pattern persists, it can signal that one person is no longer emotionally invested in the relationship, or is no longer interested in putting in the effort to make it work. This can be devastating, especially for the partner who still cares deeply and is seeking resolution. They might feel like they are fighting alone, desperately trying to maintain a connection, while the other person emotionally disconnects. At the heart of this avoidance is often a fear of vulnerability. Opening up about personal struggles, emotions, and disappointments can be incredibly difficult, particularly for those who have been hurt in the past or who have difficulty trusting others. Discussing sensitive topics like personal needs, desires, or future plans can stir up feelings of anxiety or insecurity. But avoiding these conversations altogether only builds walls, pushing the couple further apart instead of bringing them closer. Another issue with avoiding relationship problems is that it creates a cycle of uncertainty and confusion. When your partner won't engage in a discussion about important matters, you might start to second-guess yourself. Are they pulling away from you? Do they no longer care about the relationship? Are you the only one still trying to make things work? The unanswered questions can be haunting, leading to a sense of emotional isolation. You may begin to feel like you're the only one invested in keeping the relationship intact, while your partner drifts further away. Eventually, the absence of these critical conversations takes a toll. The unspoken tension starts to seep into every aspect of the relationship. Small problems that could have been easily resolved begin to snowball, growing into larger, more complicated issues. Misunderstandings arise and feelings of resentment build, creating a toxic environment where both partners feel disconnected and unfulfilled. This lack of communication doesn't just affect the immediate issue at hand. It affects the overall dynamic of the relationship. The longer the problems are ignored, the more difficult it becomes to rebuild that emotional connection. For many, the fear of facing difficult conversations stems from a place of uncertainty about the future of the relationship. When one partner avoids talking about relationship issues, it can feel like they are emotionally checking out or preparing for an exit. This can be especially heartbreaking if the other person still has hope for resolution and growth. When avoidance becomes the norm, the relationship may start to feel more like a shell of what it once was, empty and devoid of the passion and emotional engagement that once made it so strong. As much as avoiding relationship issues may feel like an easy way to avoid conflict, it's actually the very thing that undermines the foundation of a healthy, thriving relationship. Couples who successfully navigate challenges together are able to have the tough conversations, even when they are uncomfortable or difficult. They face their issues head-on, understanding that growth and healing come from confronting problems with compassion and honesty. If your partner avoids discussing important relationship issues, it may be time to reflect on whether they are still fully invested in making the relationship work or if they have emotionally checked out. In the end, avoiding relationship issues only delays the inevitable. These unresolved concerns will resurface later, often in a more intense form. Open and honest communication is key to building a strong foundation, and without it, the relationship risks crumbling under the weight of unaddressed emotions and misunderstandings. If your partner consistently avoids discussing relationship problems, it's important to take a step back and consider how you can address the issue together before it's too late. 1. They avoid spending quality time with you. When someone avoids spending quality time with you, it often signals a shift in their emotional investment in the relationship. Quality time is one of the most significant ways partners connect and strengthen their bond. It involves giving undivided attention, sharing meaningful conversations, and creating memorable moments together. When this essential component diminishes, it reflects a lack of interest or a growing emotional distance. Avoiding quality time can manifest subtly at first, with excuses such as being too busy, feeling tired, or having other priorities. Over time, this pattern becomes more apparent, creating a gap in the relationship. It's not just about their physical absence, but the emotional disconnection that comes with it. Even when they're present, they may seem distracted, uninterested, or preoccupied with something else, indicating that their focus and care are no longer directed toward you. This behavior can leave you feeling undervalued, lonely, and questioning the relationship's foundation. The lack of effort in spending time together often leads to weakened emotional intimacy. Conversations that were once lively and engaging may feel routine or shallow. Moments that used to bring joy, such as sharing meals or simply sitting together, may now feel distant or obligatory. This creates an emotional void that's difficult to ignore. Moreover, avoiding quality time could signal an underlying issue, such as unresolved conflicts, boredom, or even a loss of affection. It's often easier for someone to withdraw from a relationship gradually than confront their feelings directly. They may hope that the lack of interaction will make the other person take the initiative to end things, thereby avoiding a direct conversation themselves. This shift can also indicate that they no longer value the relationship as they once did. Relationships thrive on shared experiences and the willingness to prioritize each other. When one partner begins to deprioritize these moments, it demonstrates a lack of effort to nurture the connection. It can also suggest they're redirecting their energy and time elsewhere, whether toward personal interests, work, or other people. The impact of avoiding quality time is profound. It creates an emotional imbalance where one partner may feel like they're carrying the weight of maintaining the relationship alone. This one-sided effort can lead to feelings of frustration, confusion, and even resentment. Over time, the relationship begins to feel more like a responsibility than a source of happiness and support. While this sign doesn't necessarily mean the relationship is beyond repair, it's a clear indicator that something needs attention. Open communication is crucial in addressing the underlying reasons for this behavior. Without it, the emotional distance will continue to grow, potentially leading to the eventual breakdown of the relationship. Recognizing this sign early on provides an opportunity to evaluate the relationship and decide on the best course of action for both partners involved. 2. Communication feels forced or minimal. When communication feels forced or minimal in a relationship, it is often a clear indicator that something is amiss. Healthy communication is the foundation of a strong connection between partners. It allows for the exchange of thoughts, emotions, and experiences, fostering understanding and intimacy. However, when this dynamic changes, it signals emotional distance and a lack of engagement. Forced communication often feels unnatural and strained, as though the flow of conversation requires significant effort, instead of the ease and openness that typically characterize healthy interactions. There may be awkward silences, short responses, or a lack of genuine interest. It becomes evident that the effort to maintain a dialogue is not mutual, leaving one partner feeling as though they are pulling teeth just to sustain a conversation. Minimal communication, on the other hand, reflects a partner's withdrawal from the relationship. This can manifest as fewer texts, calls, or face-to-face conversations. The exchanges that do occur might lack depth, sticking to surface-level topics rather than exploring meaningful or emotional subjects. For instance, small talk may replace the once vibrant and engaging discussions that brought the couple closer together. It feels as though the emotional connection is fading, leaving a void where meaningful dialogue once thrived. This shift in communication can leave the more invested partner feeling confused, hurt, and isolated. They may wonder why their partner is no longer interested in sharing their thoughts, discussing their day, or even engaging in light-hearted banter. Over time, this lack of communication erodes the emotional bond, making the relationship feel cold and distant. There are various reasons why communication becomes forced or minimal. It could stem from unresolved issues that one or both partners are avoiding. Rather than addressing conflicts openly, one partner may choose to disengage, leading to strained conversations. Similarly, it might indicate a lack of interest or affection. When someone no longer feels emotionally connected, they may no longer see the value in maintaining open and honest communication. Another possibility is that external factors, such as stress, work pressures, or personal issues, are contributing to their withdrawal. However, even in these cases, a lack of communication about these challenges suggests a reluctance to rely on the partner for support, further emphasizing the emotional distance. The impact of this sign is significant. Communication is the lifeline of any relationship, and its absence creates misunderstandings, assumptions, and emotional frustration. When communication breaks down, the ability to resolve issues, express needs, and share joys diminishes, leaving both partners feeling disconnected. Recognizing this sign is crucial for addressing the root cause. Openly discussing the changes in communication can provide insight into the underlying issues and offer an opportunity for both partners to work toward rebuilding their connection. Without this effort, however, the relationship risks becoming emotionally stagnant, with the growing distance eventually leading to its dissolution. 3. They don't show interest in your life anymore. When your partner no longer shows interest in your life, it's a powerful signal that their emotional investment in the relationship may be fading. At the beginning of a relationship, there's typically a deep curiosity about each other's experiences, thoughts, and feelings. This interest creates a sense of connection and belonging, making both partners feel seen, understood, and valued. However, when that interest starts to wane, it can be deeply hurtful and alienating. A lack of interest manifests in many ways, but it's most noticeable when your partner no longer asks about your day, your feelings, or your experiences. They stop inquiring about things that once seemed important, such as your work, your hobbies, your friends, or the things that make you happy. Instead of engaging in these conversations, they seem indifferent, distracted, or preoccupied with other matters. This shift can leave you feeling invisible or insignificant in the relationship, like your life is no longer relevant to them. Another indication is a lack of support during important moments in your life. Whether it's a big career achievement, a personal challenge, or something as simple as a social event. When your partner stops showing interest, it feels like they no longer care about the things that matter to you. Their absence in moments where you need them the most can be incredibly isolating. It suggests that the emotional connection you once shared is no longer strong enough to prompt them to show up for you. The change in behavior may also be seen in their reactions to your emotions. When you're excited, upset, or stressed, instead of offering empathy or curiosity about how you're feeling, they may become distant, indifferent, or even dismissive. When someone stops showing interest in your life, it feels as though they're withdrawing not just from your experiences, but from your emotional world altogether. This can lead to feelings of loneliness and confusion as you wonder whether they even care anymore. There are various reasons why a partner might stop showing interest. One possibility is that they may be emotionally disengaged from the relationship. When a person no longer feels emotionally connected, they lose the desire to engage in the day-to-day happenings of their partner's life. This could be due to unresolved conflicts, boredom, or a shift in their personal feelings. Sometimes they may not even realize the extent to which they've disconnected. Another reason might be external stressors that have nothing to do with the relationship itself, such as work pressures, personal struggles, or health issues. However, even in these cases, the lack of interest in your life often signals a deeper issue, an unwillingness or inability to share those concerns with you. Instead of leaning on their partner for support, they may retreat inwardly, inadvertently creating distance. The emotional toll of this behavior is significant. A relationship thrives on mutual support and emotional investment. When one partner no longer shows interest in the other's life, it leads to an imbalance. The person whose life is ignored might begin to question their worth in the relationship and whether they are still valued. Over time, this erosion of connection can cause resentment, frustration, and sadness as the relationship begins to feel more like a duty than a source of joy and fulfillment. If this pattern continues unchecked, the emotional distance can widen, making it harder to bridge the gap. Open communication is key to understanding why your partner is no longer interested and whether it's a temporary issue or a deeper, long-term problem. Without addressing this issue, the relationship may slowly fade, leaving both partners feeling disconnected and unfulfilled. 4. Physical affection has drastically reduced. When physical affection drastically reduces in a relationship, it often points to a deeper emotional shift that may be occurring between partners. Physical touch is one of the most intimate ways people express love and affection. It's how we comfort each other, show care, and maintain closeness in a relationship. When this form of connection begins to diminish or disappear entirely, it can leave one partner feeling rejected, confused, and emotionally distant. At the start of a relationship, physical affection is usually abundant. Holding hands, hugs, kisses, and other forms of closeness that make both partners feel secure and loved. However, when this affection significantly decreases, it may feel like the emotional bond is weakening as well. This change may happen gradually, with one partner becoming less inclined to show physical affection over time. The small, everyday gestures, such as holding hands while walking, a gentle touch on the shoulder, or a kiss goodbye, might stop altogether. Instead of these natural acts of connection, there may be awkwardness, indifference, or an uncomfortable distance. The reduction in physical affection can create an emotional void in the relationship. Touch is not only a way to express love, but also a means of communication. When this communication stops, partners may begin to feel unloved, unimportant, or even invisible. Physical affection is an essential way of reaffirming the emotional closeness that exists between two people. When it's no longer present, it can make the relationship feel cold and distant, even if the partners are still living together or spending time together. The lack of physical touch can also indicate a deeper issue, such as emotional disconnection or unresolved tension. One or both partners may be experiencing feelings of frustration, resentment, or dissatisfaction, but instead of addressing these emotions, they withdraw physically. This withdrawal can often be a defense mechanism. When someone feels emotionally hurt, they may stop engaging in physical closeness as a way to protect themselves from further pain. Additionally, physical affection can decrease when a partner becomes emotionally distant or when the relationship has entered a state of routine or complacency. As the excitement of the early stages fades, some people may stop making the effort to keep the physical connection alive. This shift can be a subtle sign that one person is no longer invested in maintaining the relationship in the same way as before. External factors, such as stress, fatigue, or health issues, can also play a role in reducing physical affection. When life becomes overwhelming, it's not uncommon for people to withdraw from physical intimacy as they focus on their own personal struggles. However, even in these cases, the lack of affection might reflect a deeper disconnect. If someone is not willing to reach out for comfort, it may indicate that they no longer see the relationship as a safe or supportive space. The impact of reduced physical affection can be profound. It leads to emotional dissatisfaction, loneliness, and feelings of neglect. The lack of touch can make one partner feel unimportant, unloved, or rejected, even if the other partner isn't intentionally causing harm. Over time, this emotional distance can become a barrier that is difficult to overcome, leading to resentment or frustration. Recognizing this change in the relationship is crucial. It is a sign that something deeper may be happening emotionally, and addressing it through open communication is key. If the decrease in physical affection is due to underlying issues, such as emotional disconnection or unresolved conflicts, it's important to confront those issues head-on. Without addressing the lack of physical affection, the emotional distance will likely continue to grow, creating further barriers in the relationship. 5. They prioritize others over you consistently. When your partner consistently prioritizes others over you, it can be a glaring sign that the emotional dynamic in the relationship has shifted. Relationships thrive on mutual care and respect, where both partners feel valued and important to each other. However, when one partner consistently places other people, obligations, or interests above their relationship, it signals a lack of emotional investment or a shift in priorities. This behavior can manifest in several ways. For instance, your partner may frequently choose to spend time with friends, family, or colleagues instead of making time for you. Even when you make plans together, they might cancel last minute or reschedule to accommodate others. This consistent pattern of choosing others over you can make you feel as though you are not a priority in their life, which can be emotionally painful and alienating. In addition to time, prioritizing others can extend to emotional energy as well. Your partner might listen to their friends or family members' problems, support them in their endeavors, or give them more attention than they give you. They may even share more personal details or seek advice from others, but when it comes to you, they seem distant or uninterested. This dynamic leaves you feeling neglected and unimportant, as though you no longer have a significant place in their life. Another indicator is when your partner makes decisions without considering your feelings, preferences, or needs. This could involve major life choices, such as career moves, travel plans, or financial decisions, where they prioritize other people's opinions or expectations over your own. When decisions that affect both of you are consistently made without consultation or compromise, it highlights the emotional disconnection and lack of consideration for the relationship. Prioritizing others can also show up in smaller day-to-day actions. For example, your partner might consistently check their phone during conversations with you, paying more attention to messages or calls from others than to your thoughts and feelings. It might also be seen in their behavior when you need emotional support. Instead of turning to you, they might confide in a friend or family member, making you feel like an afterthought. This shift in priorities can stem from various underlying reasons. It may indicate a waning interest in the relationship or a growing emotional distance. Sometimes it is the result of unresolved conflicts or unmet needs that lead one partner to seek connection or validation elsewhere. In other cases, external pressures, such as work stress, family dynamics, or social obligations, might contribute to a partner's tendency to prioritize others. However, if this behavior becomes a consistent pattern, it suggests that the relationship is no longer receiving the attention it deserves. The emotional toll of being constantly deprioritized is significant, it can lead to feelings of neglect, rejection, and even resentment. Over time, this can erode the sense of intimacy and partnership that once existed. The partner who feels consistently overlooked might begin to question their worth in the relationship, wondering why they no longer hold the same importance as others. They may start to feel like they're not enough, leading to emotional withdrawal or frustration. Moreover, this consistent behavior can create an imbalance in the relationship. Relationships are built on mutual respect and support, but when one partner is consistently putting others first, it can create an unhealthy dynamic where the neglected partner feels drained, unsupported, and unloved. Eventually, this imbalance can lead to an emotional disconnect that becomes difficult to repair. To address this, it's essential to have an open conversation with your partner about how their actions are making you feel. Expressing your concerns calmly and openly can provide an opportunity to understand whether this behavior is unintentional or reflective of deeper issues. If the pattern continues without effort to change, it may be a sign that the relationship no longer holds the same level of importance for one of the partners, making it difficult to maintain a healthy and fulfilling connection.